மேடம். குமார் சார் வந்துட்டாங்கன்னா தெரியலையே. மேடம் டீன் சாரை ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ண சொல்லுங்க. டீன் ரிசர்ச் வந்துட்டாரு. குமார் சார் வந்துட்டாங்க மேடம். லைவ் ஸ்ட்ரீமிங் போயிட்டுருக்கு. ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ண சொல்லுங்க.
Sir, is it my voice is clear, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, good morning, sir. Sir, good morning, sir. Sir, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, கேக்குது
Sir,
sir.
கேக்குது sir.
Audible இருக்கு sir. Sir, start பண்ணிடலாம் சார். பண்ணிடுங்க சார்.
Very good morning to one and all. At the outset, I would like to express my profound sense of gratitude and also thankfulness to the Vice Chancellor of Annamala University, Professor Dr. who has evinced much interest in conducting such online programs for the benefit of faculty, researchers, students, and also the public. All because of the involvement as well as the motivation of the Vice Chancellor, the University as on stage has conducted a online programs. It's indeed a credit to the Vice Chancellor and the organizing secretaries of the programs organized by the faculties of the university. Now what's interesting here is that the Ambedkar Chair has been organizing a number of webinars for the benefit of the stakeholders. And today's program on research methodology is indeed an indispensable, valuable program to the research scholars across the world. And it is this kind of a webinar on research methodology which will enable the researchers to know the exact way they want to conduct their research. And as a result, they will be able to come out with better research output and present the research output in the form of communication in black and white. So I take this opportunity to congratulate the continuous, unfailing efforts of the chair professor of Ambedkar Chair, Dr. Rajan, and the co-chair, Professor Dr. Rani, who have been committed to organizing such online programs for the benefit of research scholars across the country and around the world. Also, I am very much thankful to the resource persons. But for the resource persons, this program would not have been materialized by the Ambedkar Chair by the university. So I take this opportunity to welcome as well as thank and also congratulate the resource persons, Professor Dr. Kumaran Shanmugam and also Dr. Siddhipati. Kumaran Shanmugam is an erudite professor in the Department of Biotechnology of India, Maniamma University. He has won patents also. He has come out with a number of publications in the forms and whatnot. His contribution in the field of biotechnology is immense, and he could spare his valuable time for delivering a lecture on research technology on behalf of the Ambedkar Chair. So on behalf of the Ambedkar Chair, I would like to express my thankfulness to Professor. Also, I would like to welcome and thank Dr. Siddhipati, who continues to serve the society even after his retirement. He seems to have gained wonderful experience in He also worked as a biology master in government schools. He is at present a freelance data analyst and also a document writer. Difficult jobs that he has taken for the benefit of the student community. He has also given it acceptance to deliver a wonderful lecture on research and methodology. So on behalf of the chair, on behalf of the university, it's my pleasure to convey my thankfulness to the resource persons. Above all, I must thank those who have registered for the program on research and technology. Participants, the attendees. It's for the attendees such a program has been organized by the university. I would like to welcome all the participants to this wonderful webinar organized by Ambedkar Chair University. I take this opportunity to congratulate everyone involved in this program.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Dr. Kumaran Shanmugam is the Associate Professor of Department of Biotechnology and Dean Research of Periyar Manipai Institute of Science and Technology, Tanjavur. He has completed MSc Environmental Science in Bharathidasan University. He has completed his PhD in Environmental Science in Anna University in the year 2001. Also, he has completed his PhD in Analytical Chemistry in the year 2004 in Charles University, Czech Republic. Sir has won several medals, including Endeavour Medal, Ministry of Education, Australian Government, Gold Medal, Special Performance Award from Periyar Manipai University. He has designed the patent file, sequential processing external reactor for biodegradable hospital waste. He has to his credit several research publications in reputed journals. He has received several scholarships and awards. He has to his credit several research projects. Sir is with us to handle this session on research methodology. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, could I start? Sir? Ma'am, could I start? Oh.
Sir. Sir.
பயிற்சி போயிட்டுருமா?
Sir.
Hello, ma'am. Is it voice clear, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Audible, sir. Yes, sir.
Ma'am. I'm present. Sorry, ma'am. There was some disconnection.
It's okay, sir. It's okay, sir.
எல்லாருமே குரூப்பில் தான் வந்திருக்காங்க. ஆ
Please, all of you mute your microphone. Participants, kindly mute your audio.
சத்யநாராயண கோபாலன். Muted, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. This patient just come up with this. Hello.
Sir, your voice is audible, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Now the presentation is starting. If once you see my slides, please tell me. I'll start my slide.
Yes, sir. It's visible, sir.
Slides are visible, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Visible.
Okay, fine. Okay, ma'am. Should I start, ma'am?
Yes, sir. You can start.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you very much for the wonderful introduction. So I have around 80 slides. So I come to know this. We have a second speaker is a patent attorney. So anyway, I prepared a few slides on IPR. So probably I'm going to give an introduction. Since he is an expert in that, he can give a drafting for that. So I'm going to the next slide. So the overall my content of the presentation, as Madam was suggesting in the morning, so I took the research methodology, but not as a fundamental. I give a lot of websites and links where our participants can go and hear their whenever they have time, they can go to the videos and are almost in elsewhere. They have 20 videos, wonderful videos from all over the world by the experts. So that could be also IPR, intellectual property rights, and I'm going to give only fundamentals, and I'm also going to tax the World Intellectual Property Organization (WIPO). So then, how to write a funding proposal? So the topic I'm going to write. The first thing, all the men who are attending this, probably whenever they find time, you can join the research academy. This is by Elsevier. They have almost close to 20 videos are there, and they can see all the fundamentals. These all are covered by the experts who are edited in various journals and who are handling the funding proposals, and who have guided more research scholars. So it's a wonderful opportunity. Please share with. I'm going to share these slides to the organizer. They will share with you. So the next one, how to choose a research problem. The first thing is choosing research problem is very important. Then documentation. Documentation in the sense which I'm saying, if you have been trained in somewhere in other foreign countries or foreign labs, they will ask you to maintain a logbook. So whatever we do, we have to register. It's very important. If we are not registered our findings in the book, it is not accepted for the publication, or we cannot progress. So they have every week. In Australia, they have it's only one country where they don't have a public bioreference, but they review the research scholar every week. That's very important. Then steps for publishing research contribution. That's also I'm going to give indexing and impact factor and scholarship and fellowship. I'm going to give a scholarship and fellowship which I have all over the world. I have a collection of this. I will pass to the organizer. Please utilize this and also share with your other collection. Okay. Why research is very important? It helps to understand our own subject in better way. If we do research, then we will understand better. So we can teach to our students in better way. So it is also helpful. We can have some innovation in that, because the second speaker is going to start with the idea. So innovation is very important. I have a definition of innovation in later side. So the standard of living, and we will get a finally satisfaction. That is very important. Research is it's a passion. It's not we cannot calculate the time for that. Next is today we have visited the Web of Science Training and Certification Program. I given this, the link also I given that. So please log in and register yourself for this program. It is they give probably that Clarivate Analytics is a recent indexing and infrastructure calculation organization which is in US. So I will pass this slide to all of you. Please register. Sorry. Clarivate Analytics. This is a company, probably I don't know, many of you must have seen the earlier one company, but this is a new company. If you see impact factor or indexing, the Clarivate Analytics name is not there, then it's not true. You must have noticed many journals in all around the world. India also they have some journals. They put impact factor as they wish. It's not true. So the impact factor should be calculated by Clarivate Analytics. That's very important. I have given the link. You can go through the link. If you type clarivate.com, you will see a list of journals where they have impact factor. Ma'am, is the voice clear? Can I continue, ma'am? Okay. I think it's clear. So indexing. Ma'am, is the voice clear?
Yes, sir. Your voice is audible, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. So indexing an impact factor, is the fundamental. So I would like to show the fundamental equation. So I have given all the website, Clarivate Analytics, where they also have some videos. Please go through that your time. This is the calculation. So in the impact factor is calculated for the last 2 years. Example, if the 2020 is there, they calculate for 2019 and 18 together total number of sites by a journal, that is 1992, and number of articles published in last few years, and we calculate the impact factor. It's very simple. D divided by C, then you will get the impact factor. So this is also there is a small point is that most of the journals they also put the self citations. Self citation sometimes the journals they include the self citation. It's also very important. So we have to see the impact factor of journal without self citation. And the Indian point of view from India, if researchers are there, now UGC has taken a new initiative, that is UGC CAR list of journals. Please go to this website. It is controlled by UGC from Pune University. If the journal is not in the list, please don't publish it. That's very important, because most of the journals they are making money out of from the researchers. So this is not a very good idea. So if you do a good research, definitely it takes minimum to publish a one paper approximately to 6 months. So don't worry. And even Nobel Prize winners also sent in the journal, they get rejected. So if you get rejected, don't lose your heart. Keep improving your journal, your article and publish it. This is an important website. Please, I will also pass it to organizer. UGC CAR is very important. If the journal is not in this list, please don't publish. You will not get a credit. Okay. Research article. Title to be precise. That's very important. On the affiliation, where the work is carried out. That's very important. We cannot give a host of the authorship. We have some friends and we cannot give it to them without or in any other means. So people should be given authorship. Only those people should be given authorship. Only those who have contributed to the management. That's very important. So, and the keywords if necessary, because the journals are have their own format. Introduction, it's very, all these are very conventional. So acknowledgement, some of the journals like NHS, they don't like to acknowledge individual names. Also, please check for software to check plagiarism. I'll go in detail one slide to plagiarism. Copying 3 words from continuously from the literature is the plagiarism. It's very important. If we copy from literature 3 continuous words, it's plagiarism. If we have a sentence, if you have something which cannot be re-modified, then you have to give it the double quotation. It's very important. It can make you lose your job or the reputation of the university. Very important. So please don't take authorship in paper which you are not involved. It will, if you have taken authorship, then without knowing what is there in the manuscript, you may lose a job. Because if they make a mistake, because most of the time, research scholar or student with the pressure, they copy something from somewhere and they put it. It's very important. It will become very bad for the reputation of the university. So it's very important. Images copied from internet is also bad practice. So avoid it. If you have to use it, please do that. That's very important. To avoid plagiarism, it's always better to write the meaning from the literature, write in your own word. That's very important. So when you write a paper, you should have the reference in your hand. Go through the paper and write in your own word. So I would like to suggest to you, if you are interested, if you are really serious researcher, you will join the research team. You will have a community where all over the world researchers are in this link, and you can discuss with them. There are forums, you can ask questions, whatever doubt is there. So for this, it will be very helpful to improve your research career. ORC ID, this is also very important. If you have this ORC ID, you can register in some of the prestigious webinars, because they don't give, they give it only the people who have ORC ID. So this is also free of cost. You can register for this. Publins, if you are a well-known professor or reviewer, you will review a lot of papers in all over the world. You will because reviewing is something 3 times more than publishing a paper. If a person is publishing a paper, he gets a credit of 1. If you review a paper, you will get a credit of 3. That means you are like a judge for another paper. So if you have registered in PubLabs, it will automatically all your review will go to the PubLabs. It's also very important. I give the So I would like to give what is the importance of collaboration. It's very important. So a person, it's generally not so easy to do a search in ourselves. So we have to collaborate with many other. So in this paper, we have now started. We decided one of my colleagues, Mr. Dr. He said we can predict glucose in urine well in advance in the human being that we are going to indicate that person is going to be diabetic in the sooner. So the individual can change from we have published in Impact 5 journal. So we have a device, a biosensor, that will monitor it out. Using that person, we can tell or we can indicate to a person that you are going to be diabetic. So change your lifestyle and you be very active. If you have been all the time you are sitting and working, it's very dangerous. The next thing, we have our own work because it's one of my research scholars' work. Here one point I would like to do that. All the time when you submit a research article, when you write a cover letter, I did a mistake in behavior, or when we write this so and so, we are writing and we are submitting a research article to a journal, please consider it. It's very wrong. When you write a cover letter to the editor, please write a very important, that is the only one point you are conveying a point that your research is very unique and what is the significant, what is the outcome of the research you are conveying to the editor. So you have to also say that you are not submitted this manuscript to any other journal. These 2 points should be there. One is you are not submitted this same manuscript to any other journal this time. You cannot submit the manuscript to 3 journals at the same time. Probably you know that. And another point is you have to say that this is very novel and this is a point is first time in the world, or what is the point you are making uniqueness of your research contribution. So you have to write, because we did test for a small work, it's very novel. So we, even though it's very small, we mentioned that the editor accepted. Then collaboration is interdisciplinary work is very important. We also collaborated with the University of Iowa recently, and we started like 5 years before. If you see that we also image lung infection because of people using LPG and biomass. Biomass is which is we do it in a conventional stouts. So we have taken around 25 to 30 human being lungs we have imaged, and we have published a paper in the factor around 5. This is also a collaborative. If you see here, here one is the lung pulmonologist is the doctors and the scan centers and another hospitals in Tanjavur, and in the US there is a group here, and in India also list of researchers from various disciplines. So we work together to publish a paper. So always collaboration is very important. So there's a point I would like to make. I work with one of my course microscopy for almost more than 10 years. This is a very expensive instrument. So I think your Vice Chancellor has visited Japan when I was there in 2004 or 5. I was there somewhere. He visited our lab in Osaka. So I remember because I was also there in another. So we see this instrument is very expensive. After coming from abroad, I thought of introducing a small device which is for our own students, and we have designed our MTech nanotechnology students design and we publish in a paper. So indigenous instruments is very important. Government of India has an initiative. They don't want to buy an instrument which is very expensive from the abroad. They make initiatives where we make indigenous instruments. So automatically the instruments from abroad, they reduce the price, cost of the price. It's very important. So our own instruments from India, it's very important. So please encourage them to make our own instruments. So we do also review, because a lot of reviews, because whenever we find them, we ask the students to read minimum around 200 research articles. If you're a researcher, you should always have a printed research article in your hand. So So whenever you get time, you keep reading it and you underline it, you make a point, and when you read an article in your particular topic, more than 10 papers, then you can go through the paper in your time of spending for a paper you will get reduced. It's very important. So we also have a DNA methylation. We have worked on DNA methylation. Probably if you are from biologist, you know that DNA methylation, and there is a for all the diseases. Particularly, we are interested in cancer, so there is a small connection is there. But of course, this connection is not completely documented. So, but we work on it, and we publish a famous in a very important journal, which is read by doctors in the US and all around the world. So this article, we do it, this is a diagram, we do it our own diagram. And we also got, whenever you get help from other people, probably if you see the slide, I have thanked the Dr. Joseph Tawati for helping the literature. Because whenever we, in India, it's not possible to get the literature. So I request foreign countries, they send the research article, and that's very important. So I started doing AHPS, I'm giving some of the important scholarship. I'm not a recipient of AHPS. And AHPS, Japan Society of Promotion of Science, this is one of the best scholarships in the world. Fulbright from US, Humboldt from Germany, DAT Germany, Endover Executive, which I received. So I will also give the details to you. So whenever you have in faculty, a research scholar or PhD scholar, you can apply for Endover Executive Scholarship. You can stay at if you're Endeavor Executive, you can 4 months, minimum 1 month, and 4 months you can stay. And maximum for a postdoc, 6 months to 1 year. So there are various angles for that. So CSR enters for travel fellowship from different funding agencies. Writing research proposals. Various funding agencies, they have a remote requirement. So it's DSC is the biggest body in our India. So they always look at a problem from Indian point of view. That's very important and should be innovative, and it should solve the local problem. So you should have a clear justification, methodology, and flow chart and implement diagram, and the expected results and the impact of results and the timeline. I'm sorry for the mistake, and budget. So justification, methodology, flow chart, schematic diagram. I will say what is schematic diagram, expected results, and the impact of results and the timeline and budget. It's very important. Budget, when you put a budget, it's very important. You cannot put more than one rupee more than that, because it's the government money. We should not take 1 rupee more than what we exactly wanted. So the experience with the research funding. So as I said, we are doing as a research scholar. I received a CSR HRM state government scholarship and postdoc fellowship in Japan, and I paid 2 times in JSPS. Last almost fellowship, and 2 times I paid. Postdoc Spain, I got it, but I decided to stay back in Japan. So you may apply many cases. When I see that wherever we are focused, we have a success there. So after coming to India, we have received 30 lakh projects in Gloucester. And I applied for 67 lakh, they are upgraded to something like that. Because in that project, they see the merit on that. For the out of 30 lakhs, 55 goes to the instrument. Only we had a 15 one, and we have hired 2 JRFs, and then we spent only for our own money that for getting the chemicals like 6 lakhs. So if you spend for human resource development, instruments, and for other tasks, if you reduce it, generally the government will appreciate it. We are also one of the people to receive a DST nomination to run the non-technical program, which is received from 100 lakhs, and one of the most investigated. So, executive fellowship is online and successful, and the AICT also give a grant. Nowadays, it is there. Almost all the engineering colleges there are now AICT. Automatically, they were in the fold of AICT. We can get a DST seminar grant. If you apply DST seminar grant, you have to apply minimum 3 months before. That means the application should be in their hand 3 months before. That should be well done. What all the speakers should have got confirmation, and their acceptance should be given to the DST. You can apply for Tamil Nadu government scheme also. Only for science, the students, you ask the students, if you're a master's student, ask them to write a proposal. it's a training for them. Even if they don't get, doesn't matter. They will get a training because once they completed, they will train their own students. So DST proposal, they have their own eligibility or requirements. It may be changing from time to time. We now so it's called the fast track or scientist scheme or something. They keep on changing that. We always send a proposal by a speed post. Don't send by proposal by courier. Nowadays it's online, it's better. But anyway, if you send a hard copy, you always send to by speed post. So DST, what they'll do, innovative ideas. I already said they're looking they always give 1 month time. So if you should write a proposal and keep it ready within your hand, and immediately you should apply for that. You should also looking for international collaborative projects which is preferred, and you can see you can keep working. If you have a link in the research page, you can collaborate with many researchers all over the world. You can ask your doubt, even a simple doubt in biology. If you wash 3 times or I wash for 5 times, it's like a simple one. You can always write to them and you can get help from them. Very important. I already said East instrumentation, which is there in Raman Research Institute in field of science, they always look for indigenous instrument. If you have some instrument which is not, which is undeveloped in India, you definitely go for that. You take indigenous instrument. This government will support for you make indigenous instrument, so you will have a better instrument for our own country. Automatically, the foreign company will reduce the price. DPT. So we have some experience with the DPT. They always look for innovative ideas. Indian point of view, it's very important. The problem is from India, that's very good. Of course, sometimes the problem can be cancelled, like it's global problem. Trust areas is very important. We can be expert in some field. We may have expertise in some areas, but the trust area is very important because the government keeps changing their own trust areas. So looking for the leading newspapers and websites, and you can apply for the grant. Okay, this probably I read already because the only one thing is I would like to say mechanism. Mechanism is very important. Please never do copying from the internet or from literature, and don't take authorship without contributing it. It's very important. This may rule and it will spoil our career. In if you're writing a proposal, the aim is very important. The aim of the project is very important. It should be one line. It's focused and clear. And objectives, it should be in bullet points always. If you write objectives, each point it should be single line or 2 lines. It's very clear, easy to understand for the reviewers. And you always put a schematic diagram. I already mentioned that. If you are explaining to the people about your project or proposal in less than a minute. So if they say the left side of your screen, if you see, we take a silicon wafer and we do some modification in green color, then we take a red color is a cantilever and we offset dot, then we put some chemicals, finally we put a biomolecule. So I can explain probably. I'm trying to make you to understand that my scheme within less than a minute. So always draw a schematic diagram. This will be very helpful. Another schematic diagram which is from one of our papers. So next is background and justification. Very important. What is the necessary we should do as such? Why we are asking for a funding? This is very important. What is the research gap? Are rational about the research? It's all very important. So it's also better when we have some idea. We always think about the alternate way. If it's something, there is a problem in our career, it is the pathway, we have to, our aim to complete the task, solve the problem in another way. That's very important. Methodology and alternative strategy. The flow chart is very important. So we have to write a flow chart. The funding agency always give with appropriate references. We should not give references just like that because some of them are friends or colleagues. So it's very important. We are giving a references or citation to the person. It's a credit to them. So I already mentioned that we will have alternate strategy with the aim of the project. Expected results. We are expecting some results, and also we are looking for unexpected results because in research we always get some information from the research, we look for some information. That's very important. So we should have some interest. What is exactly we get it, and what we go in detail. That's very important. Methodologically, recording the results is very important. I already mentioned that. If you are a researcher, you should have a logbook. That logbook every day you have to mention whatever you are getting. That's very important. Impact of the expert result, we have it in bullet points. The results and the impact of the expected result should be mentioned, which you think already in single line or two line. That's very important. Timeline, it's something like that. We have a timeline, first year, second year, third year. Nowadays, you cannot write a literature review is a timeline. So we should have done at least some percentage. If it's best ways, you have a project or you are writing a proposal, you should for a funding, you should have completed 25% of the project. Then you have a very good chance. And if it's not possible, you try to apply for at least minimum some percentage. Then you know this is a project which applied for us for the price and service charge for my result. So we already have some idea. We have a proof that, so we apply for that. So the funding agency will know that we have already towards to achieve our goal. Budget, it's very important. I already mentioned that it's a government money, it is taxpayers' money, so we should not make even a single rupees more than what we want exactly. So it's very important. So very national and very careful with while budgeting it, because we should not spend more than 1 rupee. So it's not like I got a 1 crore, I got a 2 crores by saying that. So we have to spend for the money very carefully and exactly what it is. So we should have a clear idea what exactly it is. The references, there are many models that Harvard style, Stanford style, IEEE, Nature, ACS, American Chemical Society, and so on. So it's up to you or to follow which format you want. Nowadays there are a lot of softwares out there where it will format automatically, but you should know what is exactly formatting or writing a reference. That is when the training can be done by yourself. The interest is very important. I already mentioned. If you want to become a researcher, you should have taken a research paper or in your hand research paper and print out, and you keep underlining it and read every day. Whenever you have time, you keep reading it. So it's very important. So I am going to a list of funding agencies that DST, you know that probably, DBT, AACT, if somebody from technical education, that DRDO, they are giving a lot of funding nowadays. The only thing is, they are not interested in the publication, they want to see a product. So if you are really interested in, they have a problem statement in their website, you go to the DRDO website, and all the three, our defense organization, they have listed their points, because of our soldiers in the corners of country, they are working in an extreme environment, so they need help. Maybe it's a very small research problem. They are looking for help from us. So ICMAR, Indian Council of Medical Research, they have so like DOD and MNRE, Ministry of Fuel and Renewable Energy, they also have a fund, and Environment, UGC and NextStep, NIT Trichy, and NABARD, UNESCO, Gates Foundation, Melinda Gates Foundation. They have a website. A lot of problems for all over the world and for Indian point of view. So they give, if you solve the problem, they are ready to fund. Into US Scientific Forum, it's also good. Like from biology background, they have some fellowships like for Indian, for exclusively for Indians. So you can also apply for that. And our executive fellowship, I already mentioned that. So please apply. I encourage as alumni of this fellowship. And JSPS, I already mentioned that. Japan Society for Promotion of IS Fellowship, you can save minimum 2 lakhs per month if you go there. That Germany, right to Korea, you can save minimum 2 lakhs per month if you go to South Korea. So Nutrition Fellowship in UK, Intel in Canada, Common Fellowship in UK, one of the Commonwealth countries in India. India is one of the Commonwealth countries. Definitely you can apply relative for this fellowship. So James here, Jawaharlal Nehru Center of Advanced Science, where Professor Rao, Senior Rao, so you can apply. There is summer fellowship there. Now the US, they have some fellowships, so you can also apply. So AAC here, Australia, Humboldt is also, I mentioned already. Dr. Manmohan Scholarship. I don't know, I'm not sure whether it's still existing. State government scholarship, which is I am well aware. You can go and carry out your PhD there in it's one of the European countries in Germany. It's a Central European country. So I have some also fellowships, postdoc fellowship and the European fellowship and the European Nanotechnology. King Abdullah Institute of Saudi Arabia, they have fellowships also, and you can go through that. Many Nobel Prize winners are there working in King Abdullah Institute. And King's College London, they have Stanford, they have also. So now, since the second speaker is a patent attorney, so I'm going to touch fundamentals. Probably sir can give drafting, because drafting is the heart of the patent, any patent applications. So innovation, we are trained by Ministry of Human Resource Development for Innovation Council. When we teach to students, we should always say innovation is solving a technical problem by a simple technique. Problem is technical, but solution is very simple. That's very important. That means engineering, science, even a layman who doesn't have a formal education can solve 30% of the innovation in US and around the world by a common person. So innovation is can be anyone who has innovative thinking can solve the problem. Very important. So Albert Einstein at the age of 26, he worked as a patent attorney in Swiss, Germany. So that's one of the reasons probably he understands a lot of innovations that he made him to become a scientist, a Nobel scientist in the world. Patent agent examination, if you're youngsters, if you want to become a patent agent, like next speaker, you write this exam, if you pass this exam, you will become a patent agent. So there is also for youngsters, government is looking for youngsters with technical knowledge, science and engineering. You can go and get a job in the Indian Patent Office in India. So there are somehow I given one today I received a mail from one of the companies. If you have free IPR free training, if you are interested, you can fill this form and they will take you online seminar. It's free of cost. So probably you know that polio vaccine is we eradicated, almost we have eradicated polio because of this Professor Jonas Salk. He is not patented his work. He has given this polio vaccine to the humanity free of cost. So, but it's not possible for all the time because sometimes innovation process takes their money. So research and development, time, money, return of the benefit. So we expect some benefit from that. So you know that patent is exclusive protection by the government for a territorial in nature. It's a negative right, and it's only if you apply a patent in India, it's only for India, not all over the world. I always, 26 April is the World Intellectual Property Day. So if you go to WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization, which is located in Geneva, Switzerland, and I always recommend like this one. If you go and press World IP Day, there's a green pledge is there. India, from India, there is a pledge 101 pledges are there. So please pledge, make a green pledge. That means you will use all the time green techniques, green methods. You will be always environment friendly. So our number of pledges from India will increase. So it will help us to put the India in the world map. So intangible property, you know that it's intangible, it's not measurable. IPR is one of the intangible property. The right associated with the idea or creation of mind is applied for a system owned and can be exploited by a creator. It's very important. So that's a right for a creator. So there are 8 broad types: patent, trademark, design, copyright, integrated circuits, GI, plant varieties, farmers' rights, and trade secrets. So Coca-Cola is one of the classical examples for trade secrets, and plant varieties. The farmer rights, there are many types. GI is like a Kanchipuram scenery or Kashmir saffron or some of the classic examples. Design is just outer look, which is any product which is outer look in the aesthetic. There is not technical one. Trademark, any logo of a company, even name can be trademark. Patent is a technical information, techno-legal document, technical and legal together. Like we need ourselves, we can file a patent, or we have to go get help from a patent attorney. So patent is like 20 years, it can be renewed in 3 years from India. The law is because the law changes from every year. Trademark, there is no limit, and that started with this team. There is a little more in detail. I'm not going to read it now. Designs 10 plus 5 years, renewed after 10 years, and layout design for 10 years. GI 8 years, plant varieties. GI there is one point. There is no limit for GI, but individual cannot hold the GI. It's only for the society. Kanjipuram silk saree GI will be given to the society who are heading this society. They will have a GI for the GI tag. So the silk saree made in Kanjipuram in that particular region will have a GI tag. So that's very important. Tanjavur doll or played in also GI. Origin word patent from a Latin word, that's the Wikipedia. What is the wife or a product? The next one is identification of problem of a what are not patentable. That's very important. We cannot frivolous, obvious, which is already existing. We cannot do patent. So I'm not going to start in detail because there are next speaker will give, and you can go to the website ipindia.nh.in. You will see 1930 acts. There are a lot of presentations on there. Document. These are the website of the IPR office in India. So these are the flow chart. Probably I will go in slide a bit faster. In another 10 minutes, or maybe another 5 minutes. File a provisional specification, complete specification, and publication, request for examination and first examination. This can be patent attorney can be better than me, so I leave it to that. So we come under in IP office or come under commerce and agency. So in sorry. GA has taken care of Chennai office and design is Calcutta office. That's very important. Patent is being covered by all the office. Almost all the application nowadays are online. So WIPO, when I give a special, there are WIPO, World Intelligence Property Organization in Geneva, Switzerland. They give a lot of courses online, free of cost. Very important. So if you have spent the time, if you read, you will get a certificate and useful for yourself and for your students. So please go to WIPO Academy. I given the website. A lot of courses, the expert are me. I have my email. I given my email there in the front. Take a time. So they have filed a sequential hexagonal reactor for integrating biodegradable biomedical waste from hospitals that we have applied now for a request for examination. It is the process. Somebody. So in the end, I would like to say, if you are really serious researcher, if you want to get a fund for your research, you should have completed 25% of the project. That's very important. So when you apply for a funding, you should follow page illustration. Particularly with the biodata, I may have a biodata for 40 pages or 60 pages. But if it's only 1 page or 2 pages, you have to be strict with that. Funding agency, always they don't give much time, they give only 1 month. So we should have keep working on proposal and keep it ready. So once you get a call, you have to immediately apply for that. So thank you very much for your attention. And that's all my presentation. Hello, ma'am.
Sir?
Ma'am, I completed, ma'am.
Sir? Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Really, your speech was very informative.
Thank you, ma'am.
Participants, you are having any queries means you can interact with the resource person.
Regarding questionnaire and data, you were mentioning that. So questionnaires, I have had some opportunity to interact with the research group from abroad, and they came and they taken a data from a village. and I've seen how they are working it. Some of our students also interact when they work for them. So it's I'm not an expert that. I just involve with them. So it's better someone is taking if they take a questionnaire. But what I feel is questionnaire is very important. You have to take the utmost care to prepare a question. That's very important. Data, there are random sampling or something like that. It's a fundamental. I'm not an expert at that. So if somebody if they give a talk on that, it will be better for the audience.
Okay, sir. Participants, anybody is having any doubt means you can speak with sir and ask your doubts. Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sir. The next section is going to be handled by Dr. M. Sendil Vadivel, sir. Sir has completed his MSc in Marine Biology. He has completed his MBA HR and PhD in Management. Sir is with us to handle the next session on research methodology. Welcome, sir.
Yes. In this session, Ambedkar Chair had given me a chance of giving a lecture over a simple topic, the steps in framing the research problem or the research line. Even though it is very simple, it is the first problem the students are confronting in their way of doing research. So let us continue. PowerPoint and let me explain. First, let us go for the first title. What is meant by research? Research is a continuous attempt by the humanity the research not only empower that individual who is doing research, but it is also paving paths towards knowledge development and other aspects of research. Doing or investigating or re-investigating again and again, it is called as research. Research is called research. To put in a nutshell, we can go for several small explanations in this. Everything is very simplified. Why? Because this session is meant for the PhD people and MPhil people and MSc or postgraduate people. So that is why I have written in a very fundamental way. I think it is of immense use. What are all the difficulties that I felt I have given in this list of steps. Research is to yield the solution to the problem on hand. What is the problem? That is a research problem, and it is oriented to get a solution. Research is an intellectual service. Several services are there. In medical service is there, educational service is there. In the same way, intellectual service, and it is again and again it is adding knowledge to the knowledge. Actually, knowledge proves it is the total reserve of the past experiences of all those who are entering into the concept of the research and its related things. Knowledge bulk, it can be privatized or it can be made to the public to use. research changes the human activities. Previously, one activity will be done in a particular fashion, but after the research have proved that it is more effective, we are able to change ourselves. All our human activities are getting changed. Similarly, the research motivates further and further learning. It is not only the learning process, it is also allowing others to learn also. Research brings out the potent and the significant changes in almost all the processes of the human endeavor. Research can be official or research can be informal, but anyhow, it leads to significant changes. And coming to the second title, what is a research title? This is the centroid of this session. The research title is a fencing process of the concepts and the study area. What is meant by the word fencing processes? That is, it restricts the activities of the researcher towards finding a particular solution. It cannot go beyond the limit. That is why it is called as a fencing process. And the research title leads to a scientific solution. What is the meaning of scientific solution is, whenever anything is treated mathematically or statistically or scientifically, it is leading to a scientific solution in one way or other.
என்ன சார் கேட்க வந்தேன் செந்தில் சார் அதான் உள்ள போக முடியலப்பா. எனக்கு இன்னைக்கு தான் சொல்லவே இல்லை நீங்க. நான் அதான்ப்பா இன்னைக்கு புதன்கிழமை ரைட்டு அன்னைக்கு சொல்றதெல்லாம் மறந்து வந்துச்சு. மறந்தே போயிட்ட புதன்கிழமை தான் கேட்டுருக்காங்க. சார் வணக்கம் சார். சார் வணக்கம்.
ஹலோ சார், தேங்க்யூ சார்.
வந்துச்சு
சார் ஸ்கிரீன் வரல, நிறைய கம்ப்ளைண்ட் வருது பாருங்க.
சார்
சார் இதுல வாய்ஸ் வருது சார்.
தாராளமாக பார்க்கலாம்.
Next is the skeptic feeling of doing research. Skeptic means doubtful. How to do the research, where to go, and from whom we are going to get help, whether we can complete it or not. Like that, the mind will be oscillating while the entrant is going for a particular research. Fear of meeting the game. This is a major problem or the psychological barrier with the research scholars. Why? Because they are highly scholar people, and how to go there and how to get entangled with them and how to meet and talk to them. Like that, the problem will be there in meeting the game. Shy due to lack of communication. This is also another problem. They will be very well versed in mother tongue or some other language, but they will not be so communicative in the communication language like English. So next one is the pessimistic attitude towards research. Some people are there. They are coming to do the research only to see that they are reading and studying well. But it should not be the case. Full optimistic attitude should be there towards research. In this case, the optimistic feeling itself will lead to the successful nature of the individual. So in this case, trying to drop out. Drop out means suddenly to be very confident with his own aspects, with his own potentialities. Then only it will be better. Next one, fourth is the initial step in framing research title. While framing the research title, there are some initial steps. Dedicated and committed voracious reading behavior. Voracious reading behavior means continuously for a longer time the individual should be in a position to read further and further, probing or scouting the books or the mass media, whatever the case may be. So the dedicated and committed reading behavior should be a must. Introspecting one's own area of interest. Only because the guide is telling to do research in a particular field, you need not agree. First you think well, whether you are going for which sector, introspect yourself. Introspecting means looking within, what is your attitude and which area you like that you have to select your own area before you frame the research title. Observing the environmental trends and prevailing problems. Usually research should be contemporary. Why? Because it is a need of the other. Nowadays, COVID had affected much of our academic work. Even now, we are changing our behavior and we are changing the environmental trend. So, teacher is not able to see the student and student is not able to see meet the professors. So, these are the environmental trends. What will be your attitude by this time? This should be counted. And the prevailing problems of the students or the lecturers or the guide teachers should be observed psychologically. And this is the next one. Opting to be the pioneer in the relevant area. Usually, getting a new area is a very gifted one in doing the research. Why? Because you will be the pioneer and you will be adorned and you will be celebrated in a particular area if you are doing the relevant specific area which is not being pondered by any people. Assembling various factors and variables. Please mind it that factors and variables are not one and the same. After factorization, factors are rolled out. Variables are isolated. So this one can be consulted with the statistical people. They will be explaining, or in other circumstances I may also explain. Attempting to fix the independent variable, dependent variable and the outcome variable. These are the three glimpses of doing research. One, dependent variable should be there, and by studying what dependent variable, the outcome variable should be achieved. What is the result of doing that research? That is the outcome variable. What is the effect we can get? What is the harvest we can get? What is the profit out of it? Like that. So independent variable you have to select properly. Dependent variables also it should be linked with it rationally, and the outcome variable will be also connected. Developing a flow chart, adapting selected factors or variables, accumulating and ordering previous research work. This one is very essential. There are several types of getting acquainted or getting access towards the data, that is getting the magazines, getting the articles, getting online services. All these things are essential. That is accumulating. And frequent consultation with eminent. Eminent can be within your department or he can be outside the department, but the consultation is very, very essential with the eminent. Referring the available thesis related to our selected area. So many research theses will be there in our library, and you have to go through all these things. Then only you can have the structural information about it and all. Learning basic statistics and interpretation processes. This is the fulcrum of doing research. If you are not able to interpret the basic statistics which you are adopting in your thesis, but it cannot be properly done, performed. So learning basic statistics will be giving lot of assistance to you in completion of the in generating the or in framing the title and all. These basic statistics will give you very much power towards your development of the title. Getting trained towards working statistical softwares. SPSS is there, Lotus is there, Excel is there, Stata is there, and some other softwares are also there. So nowadays SPSS is gained momentum. So you have to get little bit knowledge about it also. Then only the proper execution can be done properly, and the confirmation about the availability of the past researchers related to our research on hand. The availability of the past researchers will give you lot of information in the ROL, that is review of literature. Review of literature is the basis over which the research gap is identified, isn't it? So in that case, you have to get the availability of the past researchers. Suppose you are going for a new area, means there will not be any reference material. In that case, you yourself can produce several articles in that related things, and you can also use it as a review of literature in your own study. Since there is no past researchers, don't get discouraged. Fully next one, leverages towards framing research title. Leverage means getting assistances, getting power. This is called the leverages framing research title. Getting help from the senior researchers and eminent. This will assist you in developing a good research title. Each and every people will tell something, and you have to get it from them. You have to know from them. Whenever you are seeing the research institutes and eminent, you have to get any information from them. And academic relationship should be developed and conserved among the guides and co-guides, if possible from other departments' guides also. It can be your own guide, and they can be some other co-guides from other people or some other eminent from other department also, who can help you. Consultation and suggestions from the statistical experts also, it is a must, without which you cannot come to a conclusion in your studies. Self-empowerment in all the related activities of research is needed. Self-empowerment means physically you should be empowered, psychologically you should be empowered, economically you should be empowered, you should be empowered for time management, and you should be empowered in a literary way, and you should be very empowered in a communicative way. In this way, you have to develop your own self-empowerment. Getting assistances from the peer group. Always they are giving the shoulders when you want to. So develop very nice friendship with the peer group in the research and development world. Verbal and numerical skills ought to be enhanced. These verbal and numerical skills, even though we have something, it should be enhanced so that the framing research title will be of a very, very positive. Next one, qualities of research title. A research title should be with limited wording. Why? Because it is confusing. A paragraph like title will not be meaningful. Apart from that, If you add so many words in your title, you have to answer each and every word in your thesis. So, research title should be very compact and very limited. Next, the research title should be easily understood without any jargon. Jargon means the title itself. Then only, what is the actual work you are going to do in the research will be properly done. And in this case, the proper having the correlation between, means you have to give only the correlation, but instead you are not expected to go for some other areas. So you should be very clear. Not about the respondents are to be present, about whom you are going to study, who are the participants of your study, in which area they are working, like that. The note about the respondents are to be presented very clear. Independent and outcome variable should be in the research title itself. Then only it will be meaningful. Some do's and don'ts are there, and some of the do's are in framing the research title. Self-evaluation about own capacity are to be evaluated. You have to evaluate yourself. That is called self-evaluation. You have to evaluate yourself. What is your quality? How you can perform this? What amount of research and how deep you can go for research? What is the managerial aspect? All these things you can have to think well and step into the research. Try to conserve the original thoughts related to the research fields. Always original thoughts will be adorned in the research fields. Try to open a new branch or the new trend in the field of research. This is a very rare one, but after getting a doctorate, it will be very better. Even if you are a newcomer, you can also attend. Nobody can hinder that. So new branch or new trend is also a possibility there. Try to incubate several research titles in your. Then only your thinking will be oriented towards the research one, and it can be altered and it can be modified like that. So try to contribute the original research title. Some imitations are there. Simply taking some words from a particular thesis and putting some other words, and then they will be framing the title. That is not good and that is not welcomeable. It will affect in the plagiarism report and all. So in this case, try to contribute original research title. Frequent consultations with the statistics eminent should never be forgotten. Frequently, very frequently, before you raise the title itself, you have to get consulted with some statistic professors or some statistic eminent. You can be properly oriented, and the title also will be go hand in hand with your attempt of doing research. This is called as exploratory research. And don'ts in the framing, better not to shine in others' stress. That is, don't go for others' help too much. So stand on your own leg. That is the meaning of it. No limitation of the past studies. And better not to buy the thesis for some cost and all. Better not to adopt data collecting tools which are standardized in a different geographical area. This is the main concept. Why? Because there are standardized tools. There is no botheration in using the standardized tools. But the standardization might have been done for that specific tool in some other geographical area which may not be suitable for our area. If it is going to be used, try to re-standardize in your own locality by doing pre-study, pilot study and all, and then you can use it. But better to stand on your own legs and develop your own tool of doing the research. Steps before confirming the research title. An informal meet of several research scholars for mutual discussions can be arranged. If you are having a mind map about the research title, you get together along with your peers and the scholars and get consulted and receive the comments and think well over the comment. Don't get irritated. That itself will demotivate you. So you have to get ideas from several sources. Decision you have to make. Yet to be confirmed, the title can be circulated among all the possible eminent who will give suggestions in an objective way. So there are some people who will be always on the helping hand. They will always render helping hand to the researchers. So from those people, you can get a lot of information about the wordings and the rephrasing. Just before formal registration, take time to get final concurrence from the authorized guide teacher. He is the fulcrum of the your research. He is the driver of you. You will be oriented only according to the guide teacher. So you have to take final concurrence from them before you even do research. Registration can be done only with the guide teacher. Even before that process, you you get informal consultation and then correct yourself. And then review-based research gap. This is the last point, is the centroid of this thesis. Review-based research gap, sound theoretical basis, conceptual framework based on the variables or factors adopted in the theory are to be synchronized before the title framing. That is, you are trying to frame a title, just go for some other review. Minimum 50 reviews are essential for to develop. Go for contemporary reviews. Don't go for previous century reviews. Even though title is, some title or they will never die. Always they will be in living condition. So in that case, contemporary research is we review to develop the research gap. After getting the research gap, the sound theoretical basis is essential. Theoretical basis means what is the theoretical basis in that? Whether it can be psychological theory, or it can be management theory, or it can be sociological theory, whatever the case may be. And based on that theory is only, and based on that variables which are framed in a particular theoretic theory alone can be used for further conceptual framework. Why? Because it is the proper track. First you identify the research gap, and then get a fine theoretical basis and use or adopt whatever the variables or whatever the factors they are using in their theory, and frame the conceptual framework, and then only the tool for collecting data should be collected. So in that way, arrange all these things very rationally and see that they are totally synchronized before the title framing. And these are the essential steps before confirming the research title. And in this case, the main thing is, my professor will tell, if you frame the research title very rationally and correctly, 50% of your work is over. So in that way, I thank one and all. I have contributed to my efficiency, and it can be benefited by the junior people more than that of the seniors. But thank you for the organizations, and thank you for the viewers, one and all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable speech. Participants, do you have any doubts? You can interact with the resource person.
Ma'am, good afternoon. This is not doubt. I would like to appreciate presenter Sendil very well, sir. It was wonderful and it was enlightening for me. So I wholeheartedly thank you for his presentation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. One doubt.
Sir? Yes?
Yes, please.
Please louder.
If there be no proper researchers, reference researchers, how we can make our own data presentation, sir?
Pardon me?
Sir, if there be no reference.
What reference, sir?
Research papers, former research papers there, lack of former research papers. How we can apply some new theory or something there, sir?
See, only theoretical foundation is essential for each and every thesis. You yourself can develop. You think well and do. You see, in the management sciences, each and every day, several types of titles and several types of business management theories are coming out. They are interdisciplinary or they can be transdisciplinary also. So whenever circumstances comes to you, you can develop. See, for example, while the research is going on with the corporate and all, while I was doing the research, when I was scouting the journals and all, I was not able to see any research related to the building workers. So immediately I thought, why can't I do work in this building workers? So I have ventured in that, and I have got the doctorate only in that area. That is correlation of job satisfaction. Okay, and it's in that way you can go for a separate unique area. In that way only I have told you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. That's my doubt, sir. Thank you.
Any doubt, please? You can, if you want any assistances, the mail is there. Cut short your expectations from me. Definitely, I will cooperate with you in your venture of doing PhD, whosoever it may be. Any more?
The feedback form that running அப்படியே கேப்ல சொல்லுங்க.
Participants, we have posted the feedback form in the chat box. Kindly fill the feedback form and send us. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon.
Sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, madam. So, on behalf of Ambedkar Chair, today we have conducted the research methodology related workshop. The two different kind of eminent speakers, they have delivered the lecture. So, on behalf of Dr. Ambedkar Chair, and on my own behalf and my own colleague, Dr. Radhikarani's behalf, and our team members, we thank, first of all, university authorities to given the opportunity to conduct this program, then our eminent speakers to spare their time to deliver their lecture, and our team members, teaching and non-teaching staffs. So once again, we thank all the members and all the speakers and all the participants. So as per Madam's advice, you try to fill your feedback form. After getting the feedback form, we will send the certificates to the respective registered parties. Given the opportunity to conduct this program, then our eminent speakers to spare their time to deliver their lecture, and
Thank
our
you, sir.
team.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, end பண்ணிடுங்க sir.
Okay.